You open your phone for a quick scroll through Instagram, just 5 minutes to check what's new. But suddenly, 2 hours have vanished. You're still in your pajamas, your coffee's gone cold, and your to-do list hasn't moved an inch. This scenario feels all too familiar, doesn't it? Now compare that to the resistance you feel when it's time to write a research paper, prepare for a client meeting, or clean your kitchen. Tasks like those feel heavier, slower, and strangely exhausting. You drag your feet, yawn repeatedly, and just when you're about to start, the urge to check your phone strikes again. This behavior isn't simply about laziness or poor time management. It's deeper. It's about your brain chemistry, and specifically, it's about dopamine. Dopamine is frequently labeled the feel-good chemical, but that title doesn't quite capture its true power. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure, it's about anticipation, craving, and motivation. Your brain releases dopamine not only when you receive a reward, but also in the moments leading up to it. This anticipatory effect is what gives dopamine its power over your focus and behavior. Think of dopamine as your brain's GPS. It helps you navigate toward what it deems worth your time. The problem is, in today's overstimulated digital environment, that GPS is wildly off course. When you get a like on your photo, your brain sends a dopamine hit. Watch a short-form video, more dopamine. Scroll through TikTok, play a quick game, refresh your feed. Each action gives your brain the false sense of progress and achievement. These aren't truly meaningful activities, but your brain rewards them the same way it would reward completing a difficult project or achieving a real goal. This misalignment creates a dangerous loop where we prioritize what is stimulating over what is important. Our brains were never wired for this world. The dopamine system evolved to motivate humans to seek out food, shelter, connection, and survival. Today, instead of needing to hunt for food or gather resources, we can swipe our way to stimulation. Fast food, binge-worthy streaming, constant social notifications, all of these modern experiences provide instant and repeated dopamine surges. The worst part? These rewards often arrive unpredictably. Just like pulling the lever on a slot machine, your brain becomes addicted not to the reward itself, but to the uncertainty of when it will arrive. This randomness amplifies dopamine release, making the behavior even more compulsive. As this pattern continues, your baseline for pleasure shifts. Normal, slower-paced activities like reading, cooking, or even exercising start to feel dull. They don't release enough dopamine to satisfy your brain's new craving for intensity. This state is what psychologists call dopamine desensitization. You're not unmotivated, you're just overstimulated. Your brain is now conditioned to expect fast, frequent gratification. As a result, anything that doesn't meet that threshold feels unbearably slow or unrewarding. In the short term, this reliance on high dopamine habits may seem harmless, but over time, the toll becomes apparent. You lose motivation to finish tasks unless there's an immediate payoff. Your attention span shrinks. Sitting through a meeting, reading a chapter, or watching a movie without reaching for your phone becomes nearly impossible. You experience mental fatigue, even when you're not doing much at all. Most concerning of all, you start to feel emotionally numb. Even activities that once brought joy or satisfaction begin to feel flat. Rest itself becomes elusive, because your brain, conditioned by constant novelty, can't tolerate stillness. You reach for stimulation not because you need it, but because you've forgotten how to be without it. To understand how deeply dopamine drives our behavior, consider one of the most famous experiments in neuroscience. Scientists wired electrodes into the brains of lab rats, allowing them to stimulate their own dopamine centers by pressing a lever. The rats became so addicted to this stimulation that they pressed the lever obsessively, forgoing food and water until they collapsed from exhaustion. In contrast, when the dopamine system was chemically blocked, the same rats showed no interest in eating or drinking, unless food was placed directly into their mouths. They had no drive to act. The takeaway? Dopamine isn't just about feeling good, it's about having the energy to do anything at all. Humans, of course, are more complex, but the core principle holds true. If we overload our brains with dopamine from artificial sources, we reduce our ability to find satisfaction in ordinary necessary tasks. We need a reset. We need a dopamine detox. A dopamine detox, a concept popularized by psychologist Dr. Cameron Seppa, doesn't mean eliminating dopamine. That would be biologically impossible and mentally harmful. Instead, it involves temporarily avoiding hyperstimulating activities so that your brain can regain sensitivity to the slower, subtler sources of satisfaction. Think of it like adjusting your taste buds after cutting out sugar. Suddenly, even a piece of fruit tastes sweet again. During a dopamine detox, you deliberately avoid activities that flood your brain with rapid dopamine. This means no social media, video games, streaming, junk food, pornography, or endless scrolling through news or entertainment. Instead, you turn to slower, grounding practices: journaling, meditating, taking walks in nature, reading, or simply sitting with your thoughts. Yes, even boredom plays a role. It is the space where your brain begins to recalibrate. In fact, boredom might be the most important part of the detox. Boredom used to be the birthplace of creativity. It forced your mind to wander, explore, and reflect. But today, we flee from it, filling every spare moment with noise. Yet when you embrace boredom, you allow your dopamine levels to stabilize. You relearn how to enjoy activities that don't provide instant rewards, like writing, building something, or learning a new skill. Boredom isn't emptiness, it's a reset button. So how do you start a detox in practical terms? First, pick a time frame. It could be 1 day a week, Sunday is a popular choice, or even just a half day. This is your reset zone. Next, remove high dopamine inputs. Turn off notifications, avoid screens and digital entertainment, skip processed snacks. If this feels uncomfortable, that's a sign you're doing it right. Replace the stimulation with intentional, low dopamine activities. Clean your home, take a long walk, journal, sit quietly and think. Do something with your hands, like cooking or drawing. After the detox, the key is not to jump back into binge behavior. Instead, create a reward system that links dopamine hits to productivity. For instance, 1 hour of deep work earns you 15 minutes of screen time. 45 minutes of exercise earns you an episode of your favorite show. This method retrains your brain to associate reward with effort, not escape. You can even begin to enjoy dopamine-low activities by pairing them with micro-rewards. Light a scented candle while reading. Brew your favorite tea during your journal session. Play calming music only when you're doing a focused task. Over time, your brain starts to associate these slow, nourishing tasks with pleasure. This matters now more than ever. We live in an age of abundance, information, entertainment, stimulation. But too much of a good thing becomes toxic. Our brains are constantly bombarded by micro-rewards, leaving us unable to focus, persist, or simply be. It's no wonder we're seeing rising rates of burnout, anxiety, and depression. Not because we're overworked, but because we're overexposed. A dopamine detox won't solve every problem, but it gives you a fighting chance. It gives you back control. It reminds your brain what real reward feels like. What it feels like to work towards something, to delay gratification, to earn satisfaction instead of renting it one swipe at a time. The truth is, you don't need to become a monk to reclaim your life, but you do need to reclaim your attention. Your dreams, your talents, your capacity to create, they're still there, waiting just behind the veil of overstimulation. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, stuck, or distracted, don't open another tab. Don't refresh the feed. Instead, pause, reset, detox, and give your brain the silence it needs to come alive again. The real question isn't, how much dopamine can I get today? It's, what kind of life am I using that dopamine to build? I hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit the like button. It might seem like a small thing, but because of how the YouTube algorithm works, videos with more likes tend to get shown to more people. So your like really helps this video reach others who might need it too. And if you find my content valuable, consider subscribing. It really helps more people discover it. Thanks for watching, and I wish you and your family good health and peace. See you in the next video.